כל השונה הלכות בכל יום מובטח לו שהוא בן העולם הבא. בעזרת השם, today we're learning two mitzvot of the Oraita, which is the Mishnah's hinting to us the only way to earn a seat in Olam Haba. Today is going to be Rosh Chodesh Tevet, the first day of the month of Tevet, which is the first day also happens to be of the week of Parashat Veigash, Sunday. Mitzvah number 155, check fish for the required signs of Kashruth. And ze תאכלו מכל אשר במים. The Torah tells you that's the language. Number mitzvah 156, we're not allowed to eat fish that are not kosher. מבשרם לא תאכלו. Let's see. Let's delve into the mitzvot. The mitzvot are sponsored לרפואה שלמה לכל עם ישראל ובכללם לחיה בת לאה בעזרת השם. אוקיי. לבדוק בסימני דגים, כלומר שהרוצה לאכול מן הדגים, שיבדוק תחילה בהם יפה הסימנים שניתנה התורה בהן. So the Torah obligates you, the Chinuch says, to check, to make sure if you want to eat from any fish, then make sure that that fish has signs of Kashruth. And what are those signs? Snapir v'kaskeset. It must have fins and scales. שנאמר, it says in the Torah, ויקרא 11th chapter, פסוק ט', ואם את זה תאכלו מכל אשר במים. This is what you should eat that is in the water. כבר כתבנו במצווה הקודמת לזו שהרמב"ן זיכרונו לברכה לא יחשוב במניין המצוות בדיקת סימנים במניין שהתיר התורה. We already discussed this whole concept of if Ramban of the opinion as its own separate mitzvah where it says to enumerate or to look over for the signs of the Kashruth. The Torah tells you that you should eat kosher, and it doesn't give you a specifications that you're looking at the fish, or is a dolphin kosher or not. According to Rambam, if I look at the dolphin and I say this dolphin is not a kosher fish, I get a mitzvah d'oraita 155. Or I say this carp is a kosher fish, it has the signs of the Kashruth, I have fulfilled the mitzvah 155. According to Rambam. According to Ramban, no. וכי האמת אתה איתו בזה לפי הנראה לנו. So the Chinuch took a side already, and he says unabashedly that he follows Ramban's idea that it's not a mitzvah, it's just it's a part of the Torah, but it does not have specific its own mitzvah. ואף על פי שמצאנו בגמרא בפירוש בקצתן זו מצוות עשה, even though in the Gemara Cholin over there it says pay daf 66 Amud Bet on the second side בפירוש בקצתן זו מצווה זו, that it's some hint that it's tilting to talk about that mitzvah. הכוונה בעניין לחייב במניין הטמאים בעשה ולא תעשה. It's to be mechayev a person in reference to impurities. אם הכלל הידוע לנו לאו הבא בכלל עשה. So again, same thing to teach you over there that the prohibition comes because of the aseh, it's coming to teach you an aseh. כמו שנכתוב גם כן בעזרת השם במצוות הלאו הניכרי. שהשווה הרמב"ם זיכרונו לברכה למצווה. So now we already understand that we already know that the Rambam, however, is considering it as a part of mitzvah. ולא תעשה ולא בא כתוב לפי הדומה, רק לחייב ועשה ולא תעשה בהלוואת ישראל ברבית. אוקיי? כמו שכתוב, Rambam, same thing. The Rambam over there discusses in reference to lending, right? So say the prohibition is lending without a loan, without interest to a Judaism, mitzvah, right or not, that's the discussion over there. שורש המצווה כתבתיו, גם כן למעלה, בסימני בהמה, והוא כלל לארבעת המינים. So again, we have to understand the aspect, the concept of this separating or defining what is kosher, what is not kosher fish. The same thing as we said in reference to the animals. You have to make sure that the root of the whole mitzvah is to separate ourselves from defiling our souls and our bodies. I mean, defiling our souls through eating non-kosher with our bodies. The rules of this mitzvah, the sages of Torahs over there in Cholin, 59th page, Amud Aleph, the first side. Shesnapir hu ma shebedek שבדק שהוא לא כאין כנפיים שפורח בהן. So the snapir, the fins are something that looks like wings of a bird, and that's how the fish floats with them. וקשקשת היא אותה קליפה שעליה הדבוקים בכל גופו, and the scales is something that the Rabbi says that is actually covering the entire body of the fish. ואף על פי שלא נמצא קשקשת כי אם במקצת גופו, even though sometimes some fish have only little scales, a little part of their body that covers, ואפילו אחד לבד דיו וכשר, even if it has one, if this species of fish has one scale all on its body, that would enough be sign to make it kosher. ואמרו בתוספתא, and it's explained in the תוספתא, והוא שתהא תחת לחייו או תחת זנבו או תחת סנפיריו, אבל בשאר גופו לא סגי לנו בפחות משתיים. So that one scale that we're talking about has to be in a certain spots of the animal, of the fish, and we're talking about this has to be under the fins at least, or under the tail. All right, over there will be make it kosher, but in any other parts, if it doesn't have in those areas that we just discussed, it must be 2 scales or more. בכל שנמצא בו קשקשת ואפילו אחד במקומות הנזכרים, אין צריך לבדוק אם יש לו סנפיר. Okay, the rule is if you have a fish that has they have scales, automatically you don't have to check if it had a fin or not, because that's part of it. כי בוודאי יש לו, you know for sure. What happens is sometimes the fish eat other fish, and many times it happens to be that they could just bite off the wings, and it's not this fins. And now you caught a fish that doesn't have the fins, so you might say, oh, look at that, this is not a kosher fish. It's not possible. If it has scales, for sure it had a fin. Okay, יש בדגים שטמאים הרבה שיש להם סנפיר. אבל כשימצא בו סנפיר צריך, so however, if it has fins, that's not a raya, it's not a proof that it's a kosher fish, because most impure fishes have fins on them anyway, and you have to make sure it has the scales. וכל דג שטבעו שבטבעו יש לו קשקשים, אף על פי שאין נעשין בו בעודו קטן עד שהגדיל כגון הסולטין והאפיין, הרי זה מותר. So now, if you have a fish when it's great and it's a giant fish, you know that it has scales, and its baby, even though regardless if the baby has scales or not, it's still kosher. כגון הסולטנין, okay, so he explains, הרי זה מותר. So all those fish that grow when they're small babies don't have scales, still will be mutar, as long as you know when they're big, they have. וכל שיש בו קשקשים בעודו בים, אף על פי שהוא משאיר אותם כשעולה מן הים, כגון הקונס והאפונס בשפתיים, אפנסייתיים, והטון הנקרא בירת בלעז, הרי זה כשר. Now, this is a very big discussion. Tuna, mackerel, those are the fish that as soon as you pull it out of the ocean, all of its scales fall off, for whatever natural reason is. So as long as you know the fish in the ocean, while it's floating in the ocean, it has scales. As long as you pull it out, it doesn't matter, it's still kosher. שלא תקפיד התורה רק במניין בעל קשקשת ונסנפר. כי הוא הנאות על הטבע בני אדם, ומן הטעם שכתבנו באיסור המאכלות לפי הפשט. So we already explained, the Rabbi says that the Torah is makpid on these 2 items on the fish, and this is what we are obligated to make sure that the fish has, according to Rambam. It's a mitzvah to make sure to learn about these things and to discuss about it. According to Rambam, it's not a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah, but it's not a mitzvah d'oraita. It's not one of the 613 according to Ramban. ונוהגת בכל זמן ובכל מקום בזכרים ובנקבות. This mitzvah, according to Rambam 155, it could be fulfilled by a female or a male to check out, to make sure, to identify kosher fish or not. ועובר עליה ולא בדק קפה. However, a person who ate fish without checking it properly, כגון שראה סימן אחד לבד בדק ושמח על האחר בלי בדיקה, אבל כשביצע אחר כך כשר, ביטל לעשות זה. Even though, if he checked for one sign, let's say he found that it has what's his name? Chas v'shalom, he found only the fin. And he decided, according to this thing, it's going to be kosher. The way that thing is situated, it's like a tail, it's like a wing. And he said, but then later on, it was discovered that the fish was actually with the scales also. Still, he has, and he ate from it. He didn't do avera by eating this fish, but he did do avera of not fulfilling mitzvah 155, of determining it 100% that it's kosher. So that's where I guess the hashgachos come in, the discussion. According to Rambam, we discuss and we find out and we elaborate on these fishes or any other fish, and we get fulfilled the mitzvah 155. Now mitzvah 156, kuf dun vav, shelo leichol dak tameh. We are prohibited from eating an impure fish. What does that mean? Shelo leichol dak tameh sheneimar. It says over there in Vayikra 11th chapter 11th pasuk, מבשרם לא תאכלו ואת נבלתם תשקצו. From their meat you are not allowed to eat, and from their dead you should be disparaged. וסימני דגים כשרים כתבתם למעלה במצוות עשה ב'. Okay, so the mitzvah or the discussion of what is kosher fish we already discussed just now in mitzvah 155, שהיא לבדוק בסימנים דגים שחשבנו מן המניין לכבוד הרב רבנו משה זיכרונו לברכה. And again, the chinuch is hitting it hard on the Rambam. He says, according to Rambam, it's a mitzvah to 155 to go and check for the signs. He doesn't hold of it. That it's a mitzvah. It's a davar be'alma. We do that. Make sure we eat the kosher stuff, but it's not a mitzvah of teriyag. That's the discussion here. But again, the chinuch is hitting Rambam kasher hard. In honor of Rambam, we wrote it for you. Again, mitzvah mashikatavna lemala. Obviously, we already understand of what is the prohibition of eating impure fish, as the rules of eating not the things that are forbidden. And Hashem, the merciful one, is for distancing the Jewish nation from anything that's going to give them damage. And בהמה או עוף או דגים מן הטעם שאמרנו שם, regardless if it's an animal, if it's a bird, or it's a fish, Hashem, we already expressed our opinion to that, and what's the purpose of it is to make sure to distance us from harm. דיני המצווה כתבונן למעלה, גם כן. So the rules are of the mitzvah, as you could check into this and to delve into this issue. והם בחולין פרק ג', and all is discussed in the chapter 3 of מסכת חולין. נוהגת בכל מקום ובכל זמן, this avera of eating impure fish is at any time, anywhere in the world. Okay, בזכרים ונקבות, either males or females. ועובר עליה ואכל מכזית מדג טמא, and somebody he went ahead and ate from a shark, or 26 grams or 28 grams. If he did it on purpose and he was told not to eat that shark fish, shark soup, some people eat, right? Or lobster, or anything that's not kosher, he ate 26 or 28 grams, whatever it is, or more, he gets, if he did it on purpose, he gets lashed 39 lashes, beshogek. However, if he did it by mistake, like today, a big question, big discussion in tuna fish, somebody asks the same famous question amongst the people who are learning Torah. What do you eat? You come to a store, you come to Europe, and you're stuck with non-kosher fish, and they're selling you a can of tuna, and they're selling you a can of sardines. What do you eat? The can of sardines has no hashgacha, and the tuna has no hashgacha, but you're not supposed to be starving yourself and killing yourself. So which one? What do you eat? Obviously you eat the sardines and not tuna. Why? Very simple. Most of the time when they say tuna, it's really not tuna. They really don't care what's mixed in there. A lot of times there are many non-kosher fishes that are mixed in there that always have the same tam or the same flavor. And because it's all fumushed, we don't touch it. However, the sardines, you know for sure you're eating a sardine. You're going to ask the non-kosher fish, not kosher oil. Usually they wouldn't mix treif oil with fish because of the taste reasons. And therefore, sardine will be allowed to consume. However, obviously, Bezat Hashem, Jews should always live amongst Jewish in the Jewish neighborhoods. And if you're one of those types that don't know how to make anything, and you're not willing to learn from YouTube or at least how to salt, how to finish, how to do herring, how to cook anything, how to grow anything, and you want to be only relying on the community, then you are forbidden to, as the Rambam says, to live outside of a Jewish community. But if you are one of those that wants to preserve the sanctity of Yiddishkeit, as the Rambam says, when the world is going crazy, you separate yourself and you live in a separated place, and hopefully, B'ezrat Hashem, you watch your children and you grow in Torah and Yiddishkeit, and there will be other people who will be mitzaref, and you will grow a beautiful, smart Jewish Torah community, and you will rely on nobody except for yourself. And B'ezrat Hashem, everything, as long as you're doing it b'Shem, B'Tahorah, Hashem will help you. Have a wonderful day.